I have to pinch myself. All posted up here in Bali. Flew in 3 team members for the week. We're about to chop it up, go through a bunch of product improvements, community improvements, have a lot of fun, go on some adventures. It took me 13 years to create a life like this, a life of freedom, a life of adventure, of fun, with an amazing team, amazing relationships around me. Honestly, I didn't even think this was possible. I felt like this sort of life was out of grasp, and no matter what I tried, what mentors I surrounded myself with, whatever I learned, nothing seemed to click. Nothing seemed to work. Seriously led to a lot of dark days, lonely nights, and I felt like no matter what I tried, I just couldn't put the pieces together. For years, I kept on looking outside of me for where the issue was. Was it the team I was surrounding myself with? Was it the friends that I was surrounding myself with? Was it the location I was working from? Was it my eating habits? What the hell was it? I couldn't put my finger on the pulse of why I wasn't able to go and create the life that I truly felt like I deserved, but that constantly felt out of grasp. I realized that it wasn't some external source that was preventing me from where I was looking to go. It was me. I was the bottleneck. I was the constraint. I was the cap on my own success. If I was going to get to where I thought I deserved to be in life, I needed to save myself. I needed to go and change my habits, where I was spending my time, where I was focusing my energy. And when I started to do that, my whole world opened up. I started creating more freedom in different areas of my life. I started being able to hire much better people. I was a much better role model to those around me, my community, my team, and thereby causing them just by nature to kind of level up themselves. I've been dedicated to showing you all of the proven systems that I've used across audience growth, organic content, personal branding, hiring, firing, whatever. I think though, as entrepreneurs, we learn a lot just from watching, from observing. And so what I want to do here is show you how I actually implement this stuff, show you just how I live my life. I was with one founder, Kotaro, in Tokyo, and he was saying, Matt, I just want to see kind of behind the scenes. How do you actually function? How do you actually grow this team? How do you run your company? How do you live your life? So this video is for Kotaro. It's a bit of an inside glimpse of my life, how I structure my days, and the amazing people I've been able to surround myself with. So you can go and take some of those hidden secrets that I don't generally open up about and apply them to your current situation. We all deserve to live like this. I'm going to show you how I live, how I work, and you're going to want to take some notes here because I think there's going to be some inside secrets that you're going to want to apply to your life. Today, we are chopping it up around the VSL part of the funnel, really nailing that video. And so that going into the calls, people are showing up, they're stoked, they know what we're all about, they already know if it's a right fit for them or not, and we can hit the ground running with them. So that's the focus of today, just making a badass VSL. Jordan and I have worked together for the last 2 years. He's actually like OG founder OS. Over time, we've actually become really great friends, which I think is the goal of any teammate over time. At the end of the day, you hire weapons on your team because your belief is that, when you're in a group, say there's 2 of you, 1 + 1 = 10. I have my perspective on things. So it's all about kind of getting his perspective as he's on the ground floor talking with thousands of founders a year. Yo, here we go. Sir. There's just too many slides. It's got to be shorter, I think, within that 10 to 13 minute range. Try and get this thing down to, 40 slides or something like that. A human gets overwhelmed if there's too much shit. So I think it's like cutting all fat. Yeah. It's like, is this necessary? No, delete. I don't need that shit. Bam, 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 I think a lot of people at the end of the day are just looking to build cool shit. Like, fuck all the eloquence and like all the bullshit. Like, what do you really want? I just want a proven system. I want this shit to work. And I want to build cool shit with people I enjoy build. You know, we don't need to say all the stuff. It's the systems, it's the support, and the simplicity across your content, your personal brand, audience growth, and lead gen. This is actually what's in this offer. You have no questions about like, what do we do inside Founder S Plus? That's my goal. We can make something we're just proud of, where people are just like, holy shit, like this is for real. So we just took that VSL deck, which is around like 180 slides, and narrowed it down to about 45. I think it's trimming just a bunch of the fat. You don't see Harvard making absurd claims about the kind of people that are graduating from Harvard. They just basically say, we're the shit. Look at the kind of experience people have had. Look at the feeling people have had going through this. And they can just hang their hat on that. And so when I think about creating an enduring brand with Founder OS, not just something that's going to exist in 2 years or in 5 years or in 10 years, we're looking to build this for the next 50, 100 years.
The effects of this, like just downstream, because I think this will be the best it's ever been.
This will be the crazy part, is you cut from what we just did, whatever, there's probably 4 minutes of just fuego of that hour. And then you just cut to showing it to people on YouTube. And it's just like, that is the YouTube VSL. All right, well, here it is. It's like, have you ever wanted to build something incredible, but you just feel like something's missing? Like you have so much potential, but you're not sure what your best next move should be. You look at your business, this thing you've poured your heart and soul into, and you can see the vision so clearly in your mind. Yet somehow, the gap between where you are and where you're looking to go feels insurmountable. You've plateaued. You're overthinking, overworking, pulling yourself in 100 different directions. My question to you is this: are you building a business that can match the scale of your vision? Are you building systems that will allow your idea to reach its full potential? Or are you stuck in the founder trap, playing too small, where your business can only grow as big as the hours in your day? And what you really need to know is, what's the right next step? This is exactly why I went and created Founder OS. I told myself that when I finally figured out the systems that would help eliminate founder overwhelm and lead to founder clarity, I would share these systems. I would share them with people like yourself, those action takers, high achievers that have so much potential, but just need a bit of a guide and a proven path to get there. To be clear, it doesn't mean that you're not making money. It just means that you see that there's just so much potential in mind. And that gap that exists between where you are and where you're looking to go is what we help bridge for founders just like you. It's a system I've cultivated over the last 14 years through blood, sweat, and doing it the hard way. I then learned there's a proven way to drive people from your audience, and own that audience, and then be able to sell to those people in a more predictable, scalable way that allows you to sleep at night, have peace of mind, and have a level of predictability in your business. So you're not guessing where your next leads or your next sale are going to come from. And I'm not just doing it for myself, and we've helped thousands of founders.
With the help of my success coach, we've been able to craft a higher ticket offer, create it into an agency. And now our biggest problem is we can't handle the leads.
I would highly recommend Matt's Gray's Mastermind to really any founder. The money that I invested into this, I know that I'm gonna get back 100%.
With a group like this, you know that they're gonna draw individuals that have that same passion for what they do. It just makes you desire to be the best at what you do, even if others are in a completely different field.
He definitely has the business acumen, but he also shares content around the well-being of founders.
If you come to a Founder OS retreat, you're gonna leave refreshed, you're gonna have new friendships, a network of people.
I know that whenever the founder and Nat puts an event together, it's going to attract really high caliber people. And they're the people I want to be around.
I've worked with other CEOs and founders and coaches and gurus, and it's always been so aggressive, and Matt and his team, everybody is just so aligned, so soulful, but everyone is creating monetary results as well.
There's no better way to shortcut your path to success than by working with people who have done it before. That is the ultimate cheat code in entrepreneurship. It's so much easier just to go and leverage the systems that others have built and then adapt those to your business to achieve
your mission. I understand your struggle, but I also understand how big your vision is. If you're an action taker like me and like the people that I surround myself with, we'd love to chat with you and we can't wait to help you win. I want to encourage you to go book your call below. Make sure you show up to that call with your brand strategist. We can't wait to learn more about you, your business, and we can't wait to be partners along the way and helping you scale that. I look forward to connecting with you, and let's win together.
Like last time I thought we were pretty damn rigorous about it. But then it's like, obviously you come back to it and you're like, hey, how can we make this better? And you just pick apart every word even more, maybe even take a step back and get a little bit detached from it. We were just at first talking about a deck, but now we're talking about all the testimonials we can bring it in, how we bring the footage from the events that we do into it, and how we go and actually just show our screen and show them the kind of work that we do in the background, which you don't get when you're just stuck on Zoom calls all day.
100%. Something cool as well is just like also taking from direct experience, not just from like what we see and like how we help founders, but like where is the world going to, and like what do they drive with, and like why do people follow people now, like what type of content are they people really after. So you're taking like a global view to just how people respond to marketing in general.
It's also the offer has transformed a ton over the last year. Like we put a lot of work into having the content GPS experts, doubling the sessions and the access people get to me, taking like the in-person experiences to like insane levels. The systems are just one small part of it. The magic of it is access to the humans behind it all. Like the same humans that have built all this content for us and built all the amazing growth that we've seen internally. Trying to convey that now through the marketing is like really important, because it's not just like, oh, look at all these systems you get. It's like, sure, that, but like 90% of this other stuff is the real sauce behind it all. At the end of the day, like this is what it's all about. Hanging with good friends, building cool shit, having fun. So many people, they get started with that sort of essence when they're building something. And then inevitably, you don't have systems. You find yourself caught up in the bullshit, working in your business, and you find yourself running a business that's essentially running you into the ground. What I'm most excited by, in terms of what we're creating at FounderOS and even just what we just created, it's unlocking that essence of, I think, why 99.9% of founders are even getting into business. The ability to work on your business, not in it. The ability to build something fun with cool people, building cool shit for freedom versus all the mundane crap that oftentimes ends up occupying people's lives. All right, so it's like 8:05 p.m. here. I got calls from around 9 p.m. till around midnight tonight. We're in one of those seasons of going a little bit harder than usual, just making things happen. We're actually in the process too of hiring 2 new graphic designers. I talk a lot about how I think that taste is the ultimate competitive advantage. And the truth is, you can't just rely on a team to just set that. So when you're actually going and hiring for creative positions, you can't just expect that somehow those creatives are just going to read your mind, which is I think what most founders do. The founder needs to be really intimately involved in setting things like cinematography they're looking for, the lighting, the design, the copy. My favorite way to paint that picture is to save references. So here you can see the different collections that I've gone and saved. So I have an Instagram collection, a brand collection. I have my YouTube collection. Say we go into the YouTube collection as an example. I've gone and saved a bunch of different creative here. Things like set design, the actual LUT, really inspirational sort of B-roll scenes that I think encapsulate the kind of vibe that we're trying to curate on YouTube. This is Anamorph, a lot of great sort of more fitness, lifestyle type content. My belief is that entrepreneurs are athletes, and I think this guy does a great job of kind of encapsulating that like athletic vibe. I'll even just save a lot of photos that I really like, a lot of stuff off film that really inspires me. That's just the YouTube one. The brand collection is probably my favorite one. I've been really curating this. This was kind of started more recently, so it's still a work in development. Yeah, just a lot of cool stuff that I'm seeing. One of my favorites here, Amy Leon Dore did this awesome collab with Porsche recently. That way, I don't just have to go to some new graphic designer, say that I'm bringing on, and say, all right, man, so the brand that we're trying to create here is this, creative, freedom, aspirational vibe. I mean, you might as well be speaking Japanese, it's not gonna make any sense. The bigger thing is to show the references, right? Helps to kind of set that picture, paint it for that person so they know exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, so to give you just a sense of the creators that inspire me, Amy Leon Dore, I think their style, their mix of not just product placement, but then just setting like a vibe and doing cool collabs. This one with Porsche, Ronnie Feig from Kith, doing stuff with BMW. The kind of content I find myself most attracted to on the branding side these days is stuff that's much more raw and real and authentic, and hence why we've also shifted our strategy a little bit here, just to being more off the cuff. It's the kind of stuff that has also allowed me to feel like I'm just friends with some of the folks that I'm watching on YouTube as well. Yeah, all this kind of curation that's going on serves as good inspiration for me and where I want the brand to go, and then serves as an amazing reference for these awesome new people that we're bringing on so that they don't come into the brand and then have to figure things out for the first 6 months until they can contribute real shit that we're proud of. The goal is that person can come on, see our existing stuff, and more importantly, see the vision for where we're trying to go through these clear references, and then just get after it relentlessly. One opportunity here at Founder OS is to do for founders what I think Apple's done for creatives, what Nike's done for athletes. We're trying to create that aspirational brand for founders. So if you're a founder that's looking to upgrade your taste, remember, curation over consumption. And on the actionable side, on Instagram, go and make specific collections. On YouTube, go make specific playlists, things like titles, thumbnails, hooks, editing inspiration, lighting. On Pinterest, create a board. On My Mind, which is an awesome Chrome extension, you can create spaces over there. It doesn't really matter what you use, but just start to set up just even the most basic curation system so that when you're inspired and you have that light bulb moment and you think to yourself, damn, I wish we did something like that, you can instantly save that reference, pass it to your team, and be able to create that magic that you desire. So about 5 years ago, I sobered up, stopped smoking weed, stopped drinking. I had actually been DMing with Andrew Huberman on Instagram, and one thing came to another, and I realized that some of these habits were causing things like my testosterone levels just to skyrocket downwards, which was obviously not the goal. So stopped all those bad habits, replaced them with journaling, with writing, with working out, doing yoga. I ended up realizing that I wasn't really living life in my core calling. While I had been building a couple businesses that I thought were making me happy, I'd kind of grown out of them and realized that it was time for a pivot, a big life pivot. I started looking at the things that brought me joy, helping founders, building systems, traveling, viewing entrepreneurship as a soulful journey, almost like the ultimate meditation in life. And I started something called Soulful Entrepreneur, which at the time I just gathered around 40 founders over 6 weeks, once a week, to help them with things like the mindset around building leadership, growing a team, and then building systems for things like audience growth, organic content, and growing their personal brand. Over time, I actually realized that the Soulful Entrepreneur brand, maybe it's a little bit woo-woo. Sounds borderline like a yoga studio. So based on people's feedback, I was hearing, systems, Matt, systems. These are the things that are the most valuable from you. So I rebranded the company from Soulful Entrepreneur to Founder OS, which stands for Founder Operating Systems, and the rest is history. In my own heart, I still view my own sort of personal niche, if you will, as soulful entrepreneurship. This idea that the more you take care of your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, your inner world, your outer world transforms. I know that when I take time to reflect, to slow down, just to breathe, and my whole kind of creative world opens up. And the more creative I am, the more that Founder OS benefits, the more I benefit, the more the people around me benefit. So yeah, it's kind of my own personal philosophy on building. Calendar for next week.
Getting us back on track.
The main rule
is we can't bookend the day.
You're really loving it here, and like we have to like lock in what your schedule is gonna look like here, and it's
Gotta factor in Scooty Ricks.
you're just gonna see in your calendar now, beauty.
It's like, you know, the EST that we like, good, like that's done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in that a bunch in a year. Like, now there's the Bali time, like I'm gonna be here 4 or 5 months here.
Yeah.
I think like 90% of my role in my day-to-day just involves me being in that sort of creative energy, right? Feeling light, feeling playful, feeling youthful, having fun. And the more you're just having fun, everything around you just kind of evolves from there. So that filters then to things like the Austin retreat for founders that we have coming up, the kind of speakers we're gonna have there, the different breakouts we're gonna do, the kind of stuff that we're gonna implement for founders across their personal brand, their audience, their organic content. And it doesn't really feel like work at all. You know, we're just trying to put together an amazing experience, something that feels almost like a founder camp, where people aren't just learning a bunch, but they're also connecting with one another. We're going and seeding it with other legends that have inspired me over the years, so that people are able to connect one-to-one with people that I've learned a lot from.
Oh my God. Why?
You know that I'm this systems nerd. The reason I love systems so much is not just so that I can then replicate, you know, say that travel system the next spot I go. It's actually so that I make that system and I don't need to think about it anymore. So in the case of, you know, my schedule, my meetings, my daily routine, and all the little bookings along the way and the nuances of that, I just hand all of that off to my chief of staff, who in this case happens to be my sister. Now that's probably a surprise to many of you. Wow, you work with your sister. Some would think that's awesome. Some may be thinking, damn, I heard there's a lot of warnings out there from working with your family. You know, I had a lot of these concerns on both sides, right? I started my sister off, honestly, treating her just like any other person that I work with. We started working on a 60-day trial, seeing how it goes. Sort of our initial conversation when we kicked off even potentially working with one another, I said to Claire, my sister, you know, we got to be okay that if this doesn't work out on either side, that there's going to be no hard feelings. You know, if I have to remove you because I'm just like, you know what, this is a good experiment, but it ain't going to work, don't worry about it. You know, let's not take it personally. We'll just move on. So we kind of started it off on that very, I guess, conscious level. Well, sure enough, we got working together. Within about 2 days, I realized that Claire was a complete weapon, which to some respect, you know, it surprised me. I just had never seen Claire in a working environment ever. She's my sister. Inevitably, the nice thing that I found about working with Claire, I want to work with people that I just enjoy hanging out with, that I can just be myself and be creative with. I selfishly would love to just spend more time with my sister. We've got a good thing going. It's been about a year, and I look forward to doing it for another 10 years. So it's funny, I get messages from people all the time that see sort of some of the travels that I may be on, and it looks sexy sometimes from the outside. The reality is that on the background, there's a bunch of kind of systems that make all of this run smoothly. Now, I was running into a nomad here in, you know, Canggu a couple weeks back, and he was talking about how he had been traveling for about a year and working and was just completely exhausted. And he couldn't believe that I've been doing this for about 12 years of my life. Like, just how the hell do you do this? You know, my answer to that is that when you go and you start working and traveling, there are a bunch of considerations. Wi-Fi, work setup, routine, where's the gym, where's the healthy spots to eat around you? And so what I've essentially done is, in a lot of the spots that I frequent regularly, I've almost created like a pack for each of those spots. So I have a Google Maps saved list of all the best spots in that given location. I already have a saved sort of ideal schedule based on that location's time zone, so that I don't need to, you know, do some guessing game around when I should wake up, when I should take calls, where and when I can have my morning coffee. I've kind of optimized that day, and instead of just moving on to the next spot and forgetting about that whole schedule, I'll actually go and save that somewhere so that my chief of staff, my sister, can go and just replicate that exact schedule that was amazing, that was peaceful, that was inspiring, and just use that exact schedule when I come back again. And so we have these sort of schedules in Dubai, which I generally spend about a month a year. We have these in Bali, which I'll probably be spending around 4 to 5 months at least per year. We have these for Europe, because I like to mountain bike the Dolomites in the summer, so we have that schedule now. We have those for the US, obviously. So we basically got the world kind of covered now, and got these time zone calendar travel packs for each spot. So I have my kind of perfect week every week no matter where I travel.
Working this grave shift, and I ain't made shit. I wish I could buy me a spaceship.
So just playing paddle with Jordan, friend, teammate of Founder OS, and 2 members of Founder OS. We all met up here, Canggu, at Jungle Paddle. I think one of the best ways to meet new friends and to make a community wherever you are in the world is just through common interests. And the best way is just to meet people that just do the same stuff as you. Here we are with new friends, hanging out, working up a sweat, having some fun. One of the hidden benefits of building a personal brand is that you're putting your own interests out there, your own passions, the things that you love to do, and you end up attracting folks that are also into those things. This is pretty effortless. We all know from online that we all like paddle, and so it just kind of makes sense that when we're together here in Canggu, we get together, chop it up over a game. Again, you're kind of sharing, the sort of stuff that you're into, your core identity, and you start attracting people with similar values, similar interests, hobbies. And it just makes it that much easier to meet up with people around the world. I was just in Tokyo, met a new friend, Kataro. I'm now in Canggu, met some new friends here, Lincoln, Jordan. And wherever I go, I find that this is happening more and more and more. It just keeps compounding. So beyond revenue, beyond talent, beyond cash flows, all that stuff is neat. But far more cool than that is community, is relationships, friendships. I didn't know when I started putting my brand out there that it would lead to that. Honestly, I did it more for those other reasons. But as I've done it over the last few years, I've actually learned that the biggest benefit of it is this. Meeting fellow legends all around the world, sharing, common interests and hobbies, having fun, and, building lifelong friendships. Put yourself out there, share what you love, and attract people that are in the same stuff as you.
One of the most valuable systems I've used over the last 14 years building multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses is my personal board meeting. And so I'm going to show you exactly how I go and use this every single month, and then how you can use it as well to transform your life and your business. So let's get into it. First off, I'd like to get into what is my focus for the upcoming month. So right now I'm thinking about things like doing less, but better, focused on the few things in my life that are going to make a massive impact. And I'll show you throughout this exactly how I dial in that focus. The next aspect is obsessing over quality. Quality is the ultimate pattern interrupt, and I really focus on making quality products, building a quality team, and really having quality relationships in my life as well. The next aspect is that I focus on peace plus profit plus purpose. One of my main goals here for 2025 is to really just dial in the peace. When you think about a business, oftentimes, it really kind of defaults to chaos. And so as you're growing, it's important that you're constantly going and implementing different systems, bringing on the right people that are going to help you dial in the peace in your life and in your business. The next aspect here then is creating insanely simple systems. Insanely simple is something I've learned from Steve Jobs, reading over 8 books on the guy. I have enormous respect for him. He's probably like my number one go-to sort of mentor. Insanely simple really means distilling things down to what is necessary and honestly saying no by default. So I'm only saying yes to the things that must exist in my life and in my business. And by nature, most things are a no, and I just tend to discard those things so I eliminate distractions and can focus on what is absolutely necessary. When I say yes to things, I then make sure that those things are a whole body yes, meaning that in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, this thing fires me up. I gotta do it. If I feel that whole body yes, like a hell yes, then I'll do it. Otherwise, it's a no. And the next aspect here is being an artist, really unleashing my creative potential to the world. My mission in life is to inspire 100 million people to accomplish their dreams through proven systems. So when I think about my own life, I need to unlock my creative potential to be able to have a massive impact on millions of other people. So what do I focus on? Well, when you're building a business, I think it's most important that you're focused on revenue producing priorities. So for me, that's things like dazzling the founders inside of Founder OS. I'm spending time scheming and plotting, giving myself time to really think about what are those things that I can use to 10x the business? What are those big swings we can take? Those pieces of content, those things we can do on the audience side, the ways that we can serve founders to the best of our ability to help them scale their businesses to new heights, to achieve freedom, and to have a ton of fun along the way. In addition to that, I'm writing sales copy on things like landing pages, emails, because, copywriting is a salesperson that never sleeps. When you create an amazing landing page as an example, that thing just works while you're chilling. And so copywriting is one of my superpowers. And so I spend time making sure that the copy across every touch point of FounderOS is unbelievably dialed in. The next aspect here then is building a high performance team. At the end of the day, team is everything. The people are everything. And at FounderOS, we're constantly going and leveling up the squad we've got. We've got a team of 32 people here, and I'll show you our org chart in just 1 second. And then I'm delegating the rest of the stuff that could be on my plate to my chief of staff, which is my sister, Claire. So she goes and handles the things that are not in my zone of genius, so I can focus on the most important things at any given moment, and the rest of the distractions are off my plate. And lastly, things like shooting videos, just like this one, that serve you, give you massive value, and help you level up. Because again, that's a core part of my mission in life. So I like to also go and revisit every single month my Ikigai, which is really my calling in life. So here you can see I've gone and filled out things like what I love, what I'm great at, what the world needs, and what I can be paid for. I've been dialing in this exercise over the last 7 years. Now, here you can see in the center is my Ikigai, right? Highlighted there are things like growing an A-team, building distribution, helping founders with proven systems, coaching founders, traveling. These are the things that bring me massive amounts of joy, that fire me up, that get me excited to wake up every single day, to make an impact, and to live, right? So I'd really encourage you to think about that. And I got a cool template I'm going to show you in a second so you can go do the same for yourself. So then I think about my February personal goals as an example. So I want to go on one artist date per week, right? Something that is just creative, that gets my juices flowing. That could be going for a massage, that could be going to an art or pottery class, could be just going out into a nice cafe and reading a book, something just to feed my soul, to keep me creative. The next aspect is I'm reading this juggernaut of a book, Reality Transurfing. I was actually gifted this by a founder that I had met up with from our audience here in Tokyo, Japan. Shout out Kotaro for the book. Much love, man. It means a lot. This book has been amazing. It's teaching me to reduce the importance on things in life and to loosen my grip on life, which is great to kind of reduce stress and to get in that creative flow I think that we're all after. So I'm always trying to read 1 or 2 books a month to keep on leveling up, because my belief as a founder is that leadership is the cap on your own success. The next aspect here is that I'm filming high quality videos. I had our content producer, Diego, out here in Bali, Indonesia, where I'm at right now. We went and filmed 7 YouTube videos over 7 days all over Bali. It was amazing. It was a lot of work, but incredibly rewarding, and I can't wait to show you what we got coming down the pipe. Next aspect here then is I want to go on an epic mountain biking trip. I fell in love with downhill mountain biking when I was in the Dolomites, Italy, the Italian Alps, waking up every day, ripping downhill mountain biking for 4 hours, getting creative. It was a dream. And so I have a dream of going on another epic mountain biking trip this month. So stay tuned for that. Now, when I think about my business goals, first off, my core strength in life is installing content GPSs in founders' businesses, which is the most powerful system I've ever discovered. And so my goal is to help 60 founders with this in February. In addition to that, my big vision for FounderOS is to have a retreat center in the Dolomites where we can go and level up as founders. I can have groups of 60 to 100 founders out at any given time, and we dial in our health, we help one another with our businesses, grow our audience, dial in organic content, and just have peak experiences and peak performance for the best of the best founders out there. So you are invited. The next aspect here is I'm really upgrading all of our email sequences. Email is responsible for about 70% of the leads that come to my portfolio of online businesses, because people come from my audience on social to my email and then come and work with me. And so inevitably, the stronger the email sequences, the stronger the business. So this is what my org chart looks like right now at FounderOS. It's about 32 weapons right now. And so again, I'm focused on not just growing this team, but really dialing this team in, finding the best of the best people in the world to join it, making sure that at every moment we're a team of people that are dazzling founders, and bringing on people that are really passionate about, building the greatest founder community of the 21st century. This is what jazzes me up, if you can't tell. I also every single month revisit my vision, right? My 10-year goals with FounderOS, my 3-year goals, my 1-year goal, and my 90-day goals. And I'm making sure that every single week what I'm working on ladders up to this big vision that I have. In addition, I do the same with my own personal life, laying out what my mission is, right? Which is to really help 100 million people, right? And be this amazing example of how to build an amazing lifestyle by design. In addition to that, I got my 10-year, my 3-year goals, and then I reverse engineer that to what my 1-year goals are, my 3-year goals, 90-day goals, all that good stuff. Now, it takes a great group of people to build a great founder. And so I'm going and making sure that throughout my career, I'm dialing in my personal board of advisors. So One of the most important people on that side of my life is a gentleman named Ryan Begelman, who's become a great friend over the last 8 years. Ryan and I met when I was in a really low point in life. I was down and out, feeling depressed, and I needed a coach. I needed someone to help me go and grow. You know, Michael Jordan had a coach. Serena Williams had a coach. If you want to be a great founder, you need a coach. So Ryan is someone that's really helped me with the strategy, lifestyle design, managing emotions, managing teams. And I continually meet with Ryan every other week for 90 minutes to dial in my growth. And this is the same sort of approach we take at Founder OS to become that kind of personal board of advisors for founders just like yourself. In addition, I have a health coach named Sadie who's helped me dial up my health, my performance. I'm doing HIIT workouts now about 5 days a week, yoga 3 days a week. I got a whole health protocol I follow for breakfast, lunch, dinner, supplements I take just to feel good, feel energized, because the more energy you have as a founder, the more you can contribute to the big vision that you have in life. In addition, Claire, I get help on operations and hiring, Harry on marketing and copy. And so then at the end of every month, I reflect on, what went well. So for this month, I hit record high revenue milestones. I made 3 insanely high caliber hires, and I launched the hiring funnel at Founder OS, which I can show you here in a sec. In addition to that, what didn't go well? Well, I need to tighten up my morning routine. I've been traveling. I was in Japan for a bit snowboarding. Now I'm in Bali. And so I just needed a second basically to dial in that new time zone, because it's about 13 hours ahead of EST, which is where I kind of see Founder OS as being like a New York kind of based company in terms of, where we generally operate in as a company is EST. So that just took a sec. Similarly, I'm bringing on an internal recruiter to Founder OS because, hiring takes a lot of time, and we're at the size now that we need a legend to help us scale our team, find people that know how to make amazing systems. They understand founder-led brands. They know audience growth. They're obsessed with organic content. They're one of us. And so that takes time. And so I need some help there. In addition to that, what I learned, right, was that focus is everything, right? So continuing to say no to more things, it's a continual battle. In addition to that, just constantly upping the quality of every single thing I do. Quality writing, quality copy, quality videos, quality social, quality founder experience, quality hires. You get it. Quality is everything. In addition to that, just like you guys, right? I'm constantly building systems as we scale, right? From where we're now to 20 million plus a year. It's important that we continue to upgrade those systems, right? So that I continue to get more and more freedom. And more importantly, we just keep having more and more fun. I'm currently having the time of my life, living every day here in Bali, controlling where I work, when I work, who I work with, what I work on. It's a dream. And systems have helped create that. And so it's a continual mindset though, right? This systems thinking is a mindset to keep growing, keep systemizing things so I have more time to do what I love in life. What I've provided you here as well is your own personal board meeting template that you can get via the link below in the description. So go check that out right now and go and fill this out. I would recommend that go watch this video back and fill it out just like I've shown you I've done mine. So you're going to have your ikigai, right? Which is, again, the intersection of what you love, what you can be paid for, what you're great at, and what the world needs. From there, you're going to really dial in your core focus, right? What drives you? What's your mission? What are your principles? And what are your non-negotiables in life? What are you really focused on this month, right? Focus is the scarcest resource as a founder. And so making sure you have 3 to 5 things that you are going to go deep on to really crank it this month. The next aspect is your personal 30-day goals, right? What books are you reading? Habits are you building? What are you implementing in your business? What are you focused on doing to level up as a leader? Go and write those down. On your business side, look at your sales, your growth, your marketing, your content, your personal brand, your audience, your email. Is this stuff dialed in? And what do you need to do to go and hit your big vision in life? It's time, right, to level up. Let's go. On the reflection side, you then want to think about what went well over the last 30 days, what didn't go well, and then you want to go and think about what did you learn, okay? And then from there, I'd suggest going and thinking about your own personal board of advisors. So what mentors do you have in your life? Coaches, core team members. I'd love to even be an advisor to help you out, right? And be in your corner, helping you grow. And hopefully that's a lot of what you get out of being part of this amazing community we are building here as part of this founder freedom movement here on this channel. So it's been a pleasure. Let's win together. If you want help going and accelerating your goals, be sure to go and check out and apply to Founder OS via the link in the description. Much love, and let's win together.